Evening, everyone. How you doing, guys?
All right,
Evening,
you?
yeah, really good. Evening to everybody who's managed to tune in today. This is our first proper show after our pilot episode last week, and we're gonna be hoping to get a few more people in today and get some reactions from the fans. Looking ahead to the amazing start of the season, hopefully for us tomorrow, and we're going to be getting our predictions and our views, and then we're going to get a few people in to join us, hopefully along the way. So I'm going to reintroduce myself. My name's Ez. I've been on a few live streams with Mr. Dorr and with Jamie from the Media Man, and I really enjoyed doing that. And met these guys along the way as well, and we got on really well. We've been to games together, and we've really kept in touch over the last few weeks, especially since the season ended. And it's just an absolute honour to be able to do something like this with Liam and Joe. So I'll pass you on to Liam next, and he'll introduce himself, and hopefully, you'll know who he is anyway. Go ahead, Liam.
So I'm the one that's going to be going to all the away games, getting drunk and making a fool of myself, and try and put some content out for my channel, and as well as this one as well as doing lives here as well. So, and then on to Joe.
Yeah, so I unfortunately won't be going to all the away games. I'll hopefully be able to get into the occasional one or two, but me and Ez will be watching every single game that we can and following up on all the news and what's happening and talking to everybody else that's part of the community on streams and then via Twitter and Facebook, and just having our say and giving everyone a chance to talk about what's going on with Forest, and especially now, one more sleep to go and we're back in the Premier League.
I know it's hard to believe it's come round so quickly, hasn't it? It felt like it was dragging for a little while, and now this week, even in times this week, I'm like, oh God, can't wait for Saturday to come round. And yeah, like you said, it's one sleep away. This is more exciting than Christmas, mate. I'm not even hearing that.
It's not even a sleep for me.
Really, oh, bless you. Well, yeah, you're up all night, mate. So bless you. Hopefully you get some rest before you trip up to Newcastle. But that's not likely to happen, is it, mate? So what's your schedule, Liam, over the next few hours?
So I've got, obviously, us doing the stream, and then I finish at 5:30, 5:45 in the morning, and then I live about 4 miles from work. So hopefully one of the lads that we're going to Newcastle with is going to give me a lift home. And then from there, I get picked up at 8, and then we get on the bus from there and travel up to Newcastle. And I think I'm meeting up with some Geordies over there as well that want to get involved with the vlog. So that should be good.
Fantastic. You got a busy day ahead, mate. Hope you get some rest before you head up there. But yeah, enjoy the day, mate, and let us know. You're our eyes on the ground tomorrow, so you're definitely going to be hopefully keeping us informed and getting us some crowd reactions as well. So really looking forward to what you put out on your channel, and hopefully you do a little bit for this channel as well. So yeah, so as Joe alluded to there, there's so many of us going to be listening to this game from home or watching on IPTV or whatever various streams we can get hold of. So the majority of us aren't going to be at the game tomorrow. So this is a platform for everybody, whether you're at the game, whether you're listening to it, whether you're managing to watch a live stream of a game. We want everybody's reactions and everybody to be involved in this channel and this club. So please, going forward, share the channel. Hope you like it. Comment, and we've had a comment already from Patrick. So hi, Patrick, and you're absolutely right. It's been a long 23 years, and it feels like something special is about to happen. So fingers crossed, but we have something special to celebrate this season. Hi to Cal as well. Thank you for jumping on. Eve as well. Hi guys. So yeah, please comment. If anybody would like to come, we will drop a live stream link later on in the show. But we have got somebody who we'd like to introduce and who's going to join us for the majority of the stream tonight. He's well known to most of you who watch Door's channel, and I can't believe he managed to get both of us on the same channel at the same time, because I don't think any of you other guys are going to get a word in edgeways today. So, Joe, do you want to do the honours and introduce our special guest for the evening?
Here he is.
Gentlemen, an authentic and genuine privilege to be here, and thank you for inviting me.
Very welcome, my friend. Yeah, absolutely. You know, you're one of the first people who wanted to get on here, and really looking forward to your views and your comments tonight, my friend.
How long have you got, lads?
Well, we've got as long as you need.
Got till 3 o'clock tomorrow.
Yeah.
If we have to,
Liam, I can stop you going to work tonight, mate, if you want.
He's already at work.
Right. Way to go, mate. Way to go.
Bless him. So yeah, if we have to, mate, we'll bleed into a door stream later on. I don't mind. You know, we'll give him some competition. You're not, as you mentioned earlier, you're not exclusively Mr. Door's property, so you're more than happy and more than welcome to have you.
I'm Forest property, as you know. I'm nobody. I'm Forest property. I'm my mum and dad as well. And at the moment, my niece is hamster because I'm looking after her. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
Got your hands full, mate. Right, guys. So we're going to start off with our predictions for tomorrow's game. I'm going to let Liam do the honours. So you kick off, mate. What are you looking forward to most? So we're going to be looking at what you're predicting for the lineup and your score predictions for tomorrow, then, please, mate.
So I'm going to go with what we started with Valencia. Besides Cook. So I think Niakate will start in there instead of him. And then other than that, I don't think Mangala's going to start. So it'll be that team. So Henderson in goal, Joe Worrell, McKenna, Niakate, Williams and Toffolo, with O'Brien and Colback in the middle. And then
Have we lost? He's lost. We lost him. He got as far as Colback, didn't he? So
Anybody looking off.
That's what it is. Joe, do you want to pick up from there? Is there anything different you do from what you mentioned so far?
He's back.
Oh, is he coming back? He's back.
Sorry, so Johnson and Awoni up front.
Who did you have up front?
Awoni and Johnson up front.
And obviously Lingard in the hole, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think mine would be too far different from that, but I was interested. I watched the whole interview that Dean Henderson gave TalkSport, and after he's obviously made his comments about Man United, which, we might get onto that later on, but he did make some very good comments about our club and our team, and almost dropped a little spoiler about Mangala, saying how good he was in training and how he absolutely shocked the rest of them. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see him on that starting. I would
11. Love to see him start and shock Newcastle a bit.
You know what Cooper's like? He likes the surprise element, and that's. I wouldn't put anything past him. I wouldn't be surprised if Mangala starts tomorrow. But saying that, you know, they had Colback doing the pre-match interviews and so forth. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. I honestly wouldn't be surprised. But that's the only thing. Probably the only difference I'd have. I'd agree with you. You'd have Niakate back in instead of Cook. Although Cook did nothing wrong. Cook had a great game against Valencia. You know, he did what you'd expect of him. But Niakate, we brought him in for a reason, so we've got to see him. And I think tomorrow's going to be a tough challenge, regardless. You know, so I think, that's the thing. I would agree with you. I'd start with a 1 year probably over Surridge. So everything else, I'm agreeing with you 100%, mate. Joe, do you have anything different to add to that?
No. So just as a point or a question rather to you guys, where are you lining up in that back three? Are you having Niakate in the middle and Worrell on the right, and then McKenna on the left, or are you having McKenna in the middle, Niakate on the left?
Great question, Dave. Go ahead.
Well, I'll just come in with my 11, which would be Henderson in goal, and then a back three of Joe, Musa in the middle to answer Joe's question, and then Scotty on the left, and then Nico at right wing back, Harry at left wing back, and then I'm going Jack because of his knowledge of St James's Park and his understanding of what Newcastle United means to them and his experience. So I think Jack's a certain starter because of who we're playing against, I believe. And then Lewis O'Brien, who I thought was quietly excellent against Valencia, he will start with him. And then I've got Taiwo and Brennan as our two front men, but with sort of Taiwo kind of up the centre and Brennan to the right, because I think that Brennan-Nico bromance, if you like, is something that's going to be really important for us. And I bet you Rob Page, the Wales manager, will be watching that like a hawk tomorrow. And then I've got Jesse popping up in those little spaces in between and in behind. So I'm not far different from the only selection dilemma I think Steve's got is that, and I believe he'll go with Niakate because of the pace of St Maximin and Callum Wilson. But you know, it is harsh to leave Steve Cook out because his reading of the game and his leadership. I've said on several podcasts before that Cookie is our coach on the field. He's almost like a second manager. But I think Cookie will start on the bench tomorrow, and the team will be pretty much the same as you three lads.
Yeah.
So
he's a consummate. Yeah, the great thing about Cook, bro, he's a consummate professional. He's not going to be to moan. He's going to support the players, and when he's needed. I mentioned on I think with Jamie a couple of days ago that I wouldn't be surprised in the really big games that Cooper plays him, because he'll never let you down. He'll never let you down. Even in the Valencia game, you saw one header where he put his head in where most people wouldn't even put their feet in. You know, he's one of those kind of players. And yeah, just to touch on what Joe said, I would probably go with Niakate in the middle and McKenna on the left of back three. Liam, would yours be any different about back three in the shape of it?
No. I mean, I do feel sorry for Cook as well. I mean, he had such a good season. But the odd thing is he's just bought a football club as well. If you're a professional footballer, why are you doing that when your team's just been promoted to the Premier League? He must think in his mind that he's not going to be completely at every single game for Forest, surely.
I don't even think it's that. I think he's a bloke with a big heart, and I think he's giving something back. I don't think it's about him, taking over that club or running that club. He's just financially supporting that club. I think that's literally all it is for now. Certainly while he's still playing, I don't think his focus is anywhere but on Forest and the talents we've got ahead. So I wouldn't say it's anything that's going to distract him from what his job is, because it doesn't come across that person. I don't know if anybody else thinks differently to that, but yeah, no, I think he's wholehearted, mate. I think it's just something literally he's passing down some of his good fortune, which is, I think, the best way to do it,
He's just a very decent human being, Steve Cook. I mean, I had the luck to meet him in the Trent End at I think it was the QPR game last season, which was the game after the Reading game where he got hurt, and he was on crutches. And he walked into the Trent End with a gaggle of little uns following him, and he gave a photo and time to every one of those kids. And he is an absolute gentleman, and he's a credit to our club, and he's a credit to himself. And I think that all Steve Cook's doing is proving to people in the outside world that footballers do have empathy and a thought for people other than themselves. And I've massive respect for him. But I do agree that he's the sort of guy who, if he's starting tomorrow, if he's not, Cookie will just treat the game as, a day of professionalism, and he'll do whatever Steve Cooper needs him to do. And no problem with Cookie.
Absolutely. So anybody in the chat, is anything that would there be any difference in your starting lineup from what we've discussed here? And like I said, the only thing that I would think is that I agree with you, Dave. I think Colback in that setting is probably somebody he'll start with. I wouldn't be surprised to see Mangala at some point during the 90 minutes tomorrow. And as we know now, it's a whole different game in terms of substitutions and how many people you have on the bench. So it gives so many options, and we'll see how the game goes. Game plan wise, I just hope we can silence them, because they're going to get on. I think they might get on their backs if there's nothing happening after the first 20 minutes, half an hour. So a good opportunity for the club to soak that up and see what we can do from it. But really excited for tomorrow. So, Joe, is there anything you want to add to that, or do you want to jump on to the next topic?
So just on this point from Patrick's, what he's put in the comments, just saying that Cooper will be starting his strongest team. Doesn't think Colback will fit in that, and that Mangala will be playing. I think yes, in the future, Mangala definitely will be starting. He's going to be one of our strongest midfielders without a doubt. But I think going into our first Premier League game in 23 years at St James's Park, where the atmosphere is going to be absolutely bouncing, I think the players are going to be, well, I can't speak for them per se, but if it was me in that kind of situation, I'd be a bag of nerves. So I'd be looking for as much familiarity around me as I could possibly get. So I would want at least every core player that we can get from last year who's going to be good enough and fit enough to start on that pitch. And I think that maybe then might bleed into not seeing a Wanyu starting tomorrow and maybe having Surridge start, just so everyone's then can get comfortable, play the football that they have been playing for the past season, and then they can use that to try and build momentum rather than trying to just ride on excitement. And who is undoubtedly our strongest 11 at the moment, but they're not had any kind of familiarity in terms of playing with each other.
Yeah, that's a great point. Yeah, totally take your point on board. Yeah, the familiarity in that setting would be something that Cooper would look at, I'm sure. Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't disagree with you on that one, to be honest. Yeah, Surridge is a possibility to start. He didn't have a bad game. He was unlucky with his header because we were right behind it when we hung in the air beautifully for that cross from Brennan, and he thought he timed it perfectly, but it was just unlucky. But he had a good game, and he had a great game against Notts County as well. He's had a decent pre-season, especially considering he's returning from an injury, you know, or certainly from an operation, which. Yeah, really excited for the start tomorrow. Yeah, so I reckon. So Patrick's saying he reckons Forest to win 2-1 with Sam Surridge to score, super sub Sam Surridge to score. Yeah. So let's go on to our score predictions for the game. So Liam, again, shoot us off, mate. What are you going for?
1-0 Forest. We're going to score early. It's going to be a scrappy game. And I'm going to say Lingard's going to score. Outside the box, going to be a quality finish. I'm going to shut all the Geordies up that have been saying they're going to thump us all week. Because I don't think it's going to be as easy as they think tomorrow.
No, I agree. I don't think so as well. Joe, go for yours.
Well, I think I'm again torn between my head and my heart. My heart says, yeah, we're probably going to do exactly what Liam said there. I think our defence is going to hold up. They're going to be an absolute stalwart at the back. We're going to keep a clean sheet, and then we'll probably pinch a goal somewhere. I think we're going to struggle to be able to do that, and I don't see us scoring more than one, really. So I think it will probably be a 1-1. And then there was one of those kind of tweets that was going around earlier. I think it was from the actual Premier League, and they were saying, what do you think is going to be the goal of the opening weekend, where you put in your birthday with your month and date? And mine obviously came out with an overhead kick from Alan St. Maximin. So that's going to be their goal. It's going to be a 1-1. Brennan Johnson, similar goal to what he scored against Valencia. And then, yeah, Gucci St. Max is going to score an overhead kick.
Yeah. Stick a 5 on it, mate. You never know.
Brennan stars.
Give us your predictions for the game and the score prediction.
Is this to me, is it, Ez?
Yeah, Dave. Sorry. Yes.
Sorry, mate. I was looking at Liam disappearing into a vortex there. Forgive me.
No, I get mesmerised by that as well, mate.
Stand Up Away Days was mesmerising me and hypnotising me. You know what I mean? So I like a lot of what Joe says. I'd love to. Liam says to happen, but I think the key to the game tomorrow is not Forest, it's Newcastle.
Yeah.
And why I say that is that I think that we'll go there, and Steve's idea in his press conference yesterday and what he said today, because there's been so much talk about all these new faces and this churn over of staff. Steve actually was kind of quietly at pains to mention continuity. And Forest won't go away from what they did, you know, from Huddersfield away onwards last season. So Forest will just go and be Steve Cooper's Forest, and they'll stick to what they know. They won't overcomplicate it, and they'll just be our lads, right? Where I think it gets interesting is all of a sudden with the money that's gone into Newcastle, with Eddie Howe having signed a long-term contract today, which is actually a huge boost not only to the squad but to their support. It's how Newcastle and the 11th that go on the field deal with the increased expectation of tomorrow's game, because a lot of people are now talking about Newcastle as being, in that 7th, 8th, 9th echelon with West Ham and Leicester. Now Newcastle have got to deal with that mentally. I do think, for me, the game is fascinating because it's a tactical battle between probably the two best young managers in the country, and the only two managers in the Premier League who've brought about miracles. Because what Eddie Howe did to get Bournemouth into the Premier League is a bona fide miracle. From 17 points adrift at the bottom of League Two up into the Premier League, astonishing. And then similarly, Steve Cooper, from bottom in September to the richest league in the world, that's a miracle. So the tactical battle between those two human beings is going to be fantastic. But I think what will happen is I think that it's about if Forest can nick one early on, then it might be a house of cards. It might be a sort of a cascade of, if those 50 odd thousand Geordies start to get a bit, jumpy and a bit angsty, then Forest, just by doing what they do and what they've done to get themselves into this position, might just kind of quietly nag at them. But I think that I think it'll be a draw. I really do. And to be honest, I'd be, first game back in the most daunting sort of competition we could ever be in, a point away from home there in that atmosphere, I think would be a feather in our cap.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm agreeing with you on that one, mate. That's probably where I'm going with result as well for tomorrow. I think it will be a draw, and absolutely would take that right now. It's been, as you know, it's been a hell of a long time getting to this stage.
Yeah, well, I'm older than you.
Yeah, and it hasn't all been fun, has it? So
No,
whatever happens, we're going to enjoy the experience tomorrow, and I think the players are going to be the same. I think the result isn't going to be the be all and end all tomorrow. It's going to be how they perform. And yeah, like I say, if we can silence that St. James's crowd, we've got a chance. We've got every chance. I'm going with a 1-1 draw. I'm going to actually go with what Kel's prediction was, which is a 1-1 draw with Lingard to score for us. And I think actually they'll score first, and we'll score a equaliser in the second half. That's how I'm going with the game. It's just exciting to even be talking about it and to be even making these predictions. We're back where we know we belong, but we have to prove to people now that we do belong here, because it's easy for us to say we're a big club, but we're going to have to show it now and prove it now. And I think,
I think tomorrow's a huge day for everybody, player, staff, supporter, but in particular for me. I'm 58 now. I'm lucky enough. I had a trial with Forest in '75 because my dad was on the scouting staff, right? Just before they got promoted. Now I'm lucky enough to have gone through, winning 3-1 at Everton on the first day of the 77-78 season, and then seeing us win the League Cups, European Cups. I've had a good fill, if you like, of Forest success. But for me, the big thing tomorrow is the younger fans who've had to sit by for 20 odd years and have had nothing to kind of say, well, I support Nottingham Forest. They've had to listen to everybody supporting United, City, Liverpool. And tomorrow, the kids, if you like, what a day for them. It's just going to be amazing. So I could say, it's great for me to see them, but I honestly thought I'd never see it again. Yeah. But for the young people, lads like Joe and yourself, Ez, and Liam, it's just wonderful for you lads now to have something to kind of really pin your flag to. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. I think that's one of the things I'm most looking forward to this year, especially because, since I've moved away from Nottingham, it was almost 10 years now. And then all my friends that I've made from being away, they're all fans of the big time and been in the Premier League for the past year, even fans of like Leeds and Crystal Palace, and then obviously you got your big ones like your Man United, your Man Cities. They'll all be having their own conversation really, and then they'll kind of ask me, how did Forest get on? And they have no idea who we played, where we are in the league, who's our goal scorers, who's even our manager at the time. They won't have any kind of a clue. They'll just kind of ask me the question out of courtey. Whereas now we are in that conversation. They are going to be paying attention to what we're doing. And I think as we're all aware, they're going to be in for a bit of a surprise because they won't have seen anything that we've been doing for.
And your point's a great one, Joe. I mean, if I'm going to get all bookish and nerdy, Oscar Wilde said, it's better to be talked about than not talked about. Now, since Wembley, you lads will know this, and I've had it. I'm still kind of like trying to get my head around just how much Sky Sports for all the news have talked about Forest and about Forest signing. And, we weren't talked about, we were a backwater. And basically, I think until the FA Cup run, we were like just a sort of to everybody, we were like a forgotten championship club. And, you live in the past and all that. Whereas now, we are a serious topic of conversation. I mean, all we've done, and I think a lot of it's been overrated, all we've done is fill the gaps that were forced on us by loans, ends of contract, and sadly, people not being good enough. Some of the people have perceived it as some kind of, Forest are trying to wind everybody up. And to see certain, how shall we say, people on certain media outlets lacking perspective lose their minds is actually quite funny. And if you like, that to me is Forest already having, one up in the psychological battle. And I do think we'll surprise people. And I reckon Steve is pinning a lot of that on the wall and saying, that's what they think, lads. Jesse, that's what they think of you. Joe, that's what they think of you. Lads, they've written you off. Gary Neville's just written you off. Are you going to put up with it? I know that's what Cloughie did. And I think Steve will do a similar thing.
Absolutely agree. Yeah, absolutely. Because Liam's one of his younger. Because Liam, you're not old enough to have seen us in the Premier League, are you? And this will be, like I say, this will be.
I am, but I can't remember. Yeah, okay. I went to Premier League games, but obviously I was I'm 28, so I was 5. So, but obviously I was there through all League One, all the playoffs, everything like that, going on the pitch, being a little hooligan. I've done it all with Forest, but I haven't been to. I haven't done the away days within the Prem, or even, I can't even remember it. I couldn't tell you my first game. It was so long ago.
So Liam, I'm much older than you lads. So to me, mate, lads like yourself, who as a kid had to put up with League One, tomorrow, mate, is for lads like you. I've been looking. I know lots of people who've got young children and teenage kids and all this, and lads of your age, Liam. And so tomorrow for me, I'm like, I just think it's brilliant for the younger generation. It's a fantastic thing as far as I'm concerned. So you lads like yourself deserve it. You lads actually deserve it sort of more than me, because I had, I was able to kind of enjoy as a teenager. I was able to enjoy Munich and Madrid, and 2 League Cup wins, and then obviously the choir boy team in the 1980s that everybody loved and behaved. I don't think they ever got a yellow or a red card, that lot, because they were more frightened of Brian than they were of the officials. So it's just great for the young lads and lasses tomorrow.
Well, when I first started going, I used to go with a bloke that had been at all them, been at all the finals, speaks vividly of all the players, and it's hard to believe right now, but I think this team tomorrow is going to come out fighting. I think they're going to come out like they did against Liverpool in the FA Cup. Yeah. Would you have said Liverpool were the best team in the world against us in the FA Cup last year? They knocked the ball around amazing, but we dealt with it.
Yeah, very true.
That's a team that went down to the last day of the Premier League and just missed out. And they were beat by a very good Real Madrid side in the final of the Champions League. Yeah. And they scored a goal that was offside, in my opinion.
Yes.
But in that game, I wasn't bothered about the scoreline because we played well. We could have easily been smacked by that team 6-0 with a championship level team, but we didn't. I mean, we outclassed Arsenal.
Yeah, Liam, Zinks takes his chance. Then what?
Yeah,
Yeah. Well,
completely different game, isn't it?
Zink misses his chance, and they come down the other end and score a goal. That's what I read out of that game. So
that's the margin.
Yeah,
it is. It's the sliding doors, isn't it? But I mean, we had. But to be fair, you know, I think I did us a favour because I mentioned at the time. I think it was one of the first times I got on with Dora, and I'd mentioned that. But us having that cup run obviously gave us really good momentum. You know, got us the exposure, like you mentioned, Dave. More people started paying attention to us, but also got that little gap with the other teams in the playoff chase, playing each other, losing the odd game here and there, and we ended up having like 4 or 5 games in hand, you know. And the key was obviously to make those games in hand count. And oh, thank God we did. But it was really interesting. I don't know if you guys saw Cooper's pre-match interview yesterday, but he was really annoyed that we didn't get automatic. He was really annoyed about that, you know. And that's first.
We're looking at it. We should have done. We really should have done.
I also remember, Ez, I saw Steve's, because I'll tell you what, Steve's interviews in the last week have been fantastic. My favourite of his interviews was the one after Notts County, where I thought he was like saying, Steve Cooper was basically saying to the media and to the squad, don't take me for a fool. And anybody out there, don't take me or Nottingham Forest for fools, right? I mean, you know, and that Notts County game, when he said, you know, I've had a few things confirmed, I thought, oh, I wouldn't mess with him. And then the same yesterday. But this business of him being annoyed about automatic is a great point. And I go back to the Liverpool game, right, where at the end of that match, I'm assuming all you lads were in the ground like I was. No, and at the end of the game, every tricky in the ground, in the City ground, gave Forest a sort of a gallant loser's ovation, right? Everybody went,
it was weird, wasn't it? It was,
yeah,
they got
beat. They got beat, but well done, Forest. Now, when Colin got to Steve after the match and mentioned it, Steve was having none of it. Steve was like, no, I don't want gallant losers. I thought we could beat Liverpool, and I'm unhappy that we haven't beaten Liverpool. And that, to me, I thought was absolutely brilliant. That was, okay, so it's Liverpool's. What? So we have to know our place and kowtow down, you know. And as you say, Liam, they went right to the end of the season against, you know, Manchester City. And, you know, it was like at one point until, you know, Villa were 2-0 up, Liverpool were champions, right? And they were having no trouble with Wolves on that last day. And then obviously in the Champions League final, they were actually the better side against Real Madrid, but got done with a piece of slack defending. So the context of Forest's quarter-final performance, I think it's the most definitive. The loss that day was the most useful and definitive result we had in the run-in. And as you say, Ez, it gave us that we got those games in hand because we before those games they were chasing us because we played pretty much through COVID and they didn't. But then with the cup run, they ended up going sort of beyond us in fixtures played, and then we knew we were then good at chasing. You know, and take out Luton and Bournemouth, but everything else, you know, went to plan. So, but I do think the loss to Liverpool was a sort of a. He would have come in and said, "No, I'm annoyed you lost that just because it's Liverpool," you know. And they should look at that now. If I was saying to them tomorrow, I say, lads, you gave Liverpool a right go. Why can't you give Newcastle a right go? Why can't you give West Ham a go at home next week when we've got, you know, 28,000 lunatics on our side? You know what I mean? So
go on. Sorry.
Yeah. So I just think I think that Steve has really come into his own. You know, I mean, he's a brilliant communicator. He's a brilliant tactician. My thing about Steve is his man management, right? Did you lads see the photo of them all in a restaurant?
Yeah,
and it was wonderful. All of them. I don't know about you. I'm a people watcher, right? And I looked at the body language, if you like, of they were all sat around this. There was a table,
yeah,
and they all looked like a gang of lads on a stag do, and they all looked really happy. And I just think, beware Newcastle, because often a happy, relaxed team can beat maybe a more talented, more gifted team. And tomorrow, I think tomorrow is the most difficult game of all of them to call. I really do.
I agree, and yeah, we saw a different side to Cooper in those interviews, and it was refreshing. And I agree with you. It's him saying, "Look, don't take me for no fool." This isn't going to be. I'm not a pushover, and he is a nice guy, but he knows how to use it. He's.
Yeah.
I've said before, I'd love him to be my boss. He's the kind of person who would motivate you 100%.
Yeah.
And he'd be genuine as well, and he's not gonna BS you. If you're not in his plans, he'll tell you you're not in his plans. He's not gonna dangle a carrot if there's nothing there for you to aim towards. But yeah,
That's
really tomorrow. So yeah, I was gonna say, is there anything else you want to add, guys, before we move on to the next topic?
I'd say about Cooper. I don't know if you listened to his Colin Frey interviews last season after all our home wins, the big home wins. He's clinical as well. He's clinical of his players.
Yeah.
I think it was when we beat Barnsley 3-0 at home.
Mm.
Worst game I've ever watched of football, and I've never known to say that about a 3-0 win.
Yeah.
But we could have scored 9 in that game. And Cooper, I go with a lad I've been going with all season. And I was like, I bet you Cooper says in his interview, we should have scored more. And he wasn't happy. And I love that. I love that a 3-0 win is not good enough for us.
Yeah.
That was it the 5 against Swansea?
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't happy with that. He said we needed to score more.
No, that's right.
We shouldn't have been 1-1 at half time. We shouldn't have been.
He pulled after Brighton scored his goal. He pulled him back from celebrating. No, carry on. Carry on playing. So yeah, absolutely. He's shown his ruthless side, and I was waiting to see that. But I love him. We all love him, don't we? I've got so much faith in him as well. To do the right thing for our club, because I think he's invested in it. He's invested in the culture of the club. Nobody goes to the lengths he's gone to meet up with legends of the club, to really sleep, unless you're in it for the long haul. And fingers crossed, don't want to jinx anything, but he's the one who can make all the difference. Let's fingers crossed. Let's have an amazing season as well. Any chats in any more comments from our viewers? There,
Yeah, just on that point as well about Cooper's interviews. Liam took the point that I had in my head where through the entirety of last season, it didn't matter if we absolutely rattled a team or if we'd only just lost. He always kind of had a very calm and level-headed approach to all of his interviews. Another point, in every single interview that I've ever seen of him, he never praises or criticizes an individual player. Like, even if one player's had an absolute blinder, like when Surridge scored a hat-trick, I think he would always praise the team performance and how they built up to those goals, as opposed to an individual performance and bigging up individual players. He'd always want to keep the team mentality and kind of incite that they all had a big part to play on that result, and it wasn't just one moment of brilliance from a couple of players.
Yeah, that's a great point, Joe. And this is where I've coached and I played local league football till I was 43, and then was lucky enough to manage a team. And to me, it's always about the collective and inclusivity in that collective. Now, what Steve does, he'll have been in that room at that restaurant last night, and he'll be looking around at I think there are 24 of them, and he'll have a framework in place for the group. But what he'll do, he'll have 24 different frameworks, one for each player that deals with each individual. So, if you like, Brennan's needs are different to Scotty McKenna's needs, and are different from Joe's needs, and different from Taiwo's needs, and Jesse's needs. And so I think with Steve Cooper, it's this inclusivity. It's he's met, like you say, he's had fan forums. He's met the legends of the club. He's as far as I know, correct me if I'm wrong, he's living in the environs of the centre of Nottingham, so he's getting to know the city. He's walking out and he's meeting people. He's got the common touch, and he's a real people person. And I think he's a clear-headed general. He's just so he's kind, but I think he's ruthless when he needs to be. Which, unfortunately, when you're a football manager, and especially in a high-stakes environment like Nottingham Forest Football Club in the Premier League, you're going to have to tell people things that they don't want to hear sometimes. But the great, again, Joe's point about there are no individuals being singled out. There are no, for either for praise or for, being demolished. I mean, I think he's had to do he's had to make some tough decisions in the last 2 or 3 weeks, because I felt pre-season was more about those going than those staying. I think he knew pretty much the ones he wanted.
I think he summed that up after the county game, didn't he? He kind of said, right, I know exactly. And then we've seen, I think it was today or yesterday, Yeda's gone to the MLS. I've seen Arrea's gone. I wasn't expecting him to go, but whether he was another one that he kind of pinpointed.
I think, Joe, sadly those guys won't come back, because I think I am going to single names out, and that's completely wrong, and it's hypocritical of me. But when I looked at that game against Notts County, to Steve, it seemed to me there were 2 teams on the field, right? The kids, so Zach Abbott, Billy Fuster, Aaron Donnelly, Julian Larson, Dale Taylor, Ollie Hammond, who I think has been excellent in pre-season. And then there were, if you like, the more established players. And his hire was I think it was directed against Lyle, Alex, Brian Ayeda, Richie Laurier. After strong start, faded. I think the one established person who played at Notts County who was free of any criticism, and who I think he's going to be a squad member, maybe not starting, was Cafu. I think Cafu is. I mean, you got to love him, haven't you? What a character! He's a great lad. He just looks like a mate of mine. Met him right in Nottingham, and he was in this restaurant, and Cafu was sat there with his girlfriend, and my mate said to Cafu, "Oh, I think you should be in the team." And Cafu's girlfriend said, "Well, we think that you should be the manager of Nottingham Forest." And he was absolutely, he was a lovely guy to talk to, and I think Cafu is attaining cult status. I mean, what a guy to have in your squad. Not going to play every week, might not play hardly any games, but a cheerleader around the place. And I think he's really good for Nottingham Forest, Cafu. So, but yeah, Cooper's a man of the collective, and I don't think he'll change. He'll go game to game, and he won't single anybody out, and then everybody will feel comfortable within the bubble that they create.
Yeah, totally agree. It's all about creating that siege mentality as well, isn't it? It's us. It is going to be us against them. We're going to surprise a lot of people, like you alluded to earlier, Dave. And we're all buzzing for it, but we know that behind the scenes there's a very definite plan going ahead. It might seem a bit. We don't know, obviously, the intricacies, but you can see there's definitely a team bond there, and that's so important. And that's what that's why he likes the little groups. He doesn't like a huge squad to, to work with. And it's not just him, obviously. It's Tate and everybody else who he's added to the backroom staff over summer. Really looking forward to how they all blend together. So I was going to say, Joe, is there anybody? Do you want to drop a link to the stream so you can get somebody else in?
Yeah, I'll put it back in. It is in the pinned comment on the chat. So in that top box in blue, in the top chat section, if you click on that, you've then got a link that takes you straight to the stream that we're on at the moment. So then anybody who wants to click on that and get involved and come have a chat about what we've talked about or anything else that we're looking at, please feel free to come and join us.
Yeah, guys,
tomorrow, Dave?
Say again. Sorry, go on, Liam.
I was just asking Dave if he's going tomorrow.
Yes, I am, mate. Yeah, and to be honest, Liam, given the look at Ed smiling, he kind of knows what I'm alluding to. You do, don't you? Yes. I'm not going to be, as far as I'm concerned, I'm incredibly lucky to be able to go tomorrow. And there's a lot of my tricky brothers and sisters not as lucky as I am. And I'm gonna be really low key about it. But yeah, I'm going, and that's all I'm going to say on it, because that other situation is so emotive, and and there are a lot of people who are upset, and actually I think by and large they're justified in being upset. So but yeah, I'm going. I've got a lift because I live in Newcastle, you see. So I've got a lift with a mate of mine. We're getting in the car about 9 o'clock in the morning, something like that.
I'm going straight from here, straight to Newcastle, really, pretty much.
Brilliant, mate. Well, I tell you what, Liam. Hopefully, I'll bump into you when we get there, mate. Be nice to meet up.
Yeah, I'll keep an eye out for you. Just punch me in the arm or something. I'm not that good with remembering faces.
You probably hear my voice droning on, Liam. Oh God, there's Ashley. I can hear him a mile away. You know what I mean?
So,
Mark's asking, Dave, if taking any extra oxygen.
Sorry, say that again.
Mark in the chat's just asked, are you taking any extra oxygen to get up the steps?
Do you know what, actually, Joe? I'm 58, but I've been to the gym 5 days this week. I'm making the most of my gym membership. I went on the step machine today and I did 140 steps. I've been training for altitude sickness and vertigo. So, I'm actually going to try. I'm going to be meeting Dor and a few other lads, Malcolm and Gary and what have you, at the ground. And I'm going to try and run up them steps to see if they can catch me, even though they're all younger than me. So, yeah, it's I don't like heights, so I don't know what it's going to be like in the Leazes End tomorrow.
Yeah, it'll be an amazing view anyway from there. But yeah, getting up there might be a bit. Yeah,
coming down might be a problem, Ez.
Now you've told me you've been training, you're carrying me up.
Yeah, well, I've got to get my phone and my wallet up as well, Liam. So I'm going to be knackered by the time we get there, mate. And my big head as well.
So just to respond to a comment from Eve. So yeah, Eve, just click on that link. You can certainly come on and give us your predictions. We'd love to hear your predictions.
My mate Eve, what a lovely last she is. Yeah, the world of it.
So just click on that link, Eve, and then we'll Joe will admit you onto the stream. Fantastic. Thank you, Kel. Yeah, absolutely, guys. You make enough for the rest of us at home, and just to touch on what you said there, Dave, and you shouldn't have to feel like that, because everybody would love to be in your position, but no one should be resenting the fact that you guys are managing to go for me. Make a noise for me. And the rest of us,
Uncle Dave representing everybody. And ideally, I'd love everybody who could go, but Kel's put on there. I'll be shouting for Kel tomorrow. I see her on Twitter and she's as sound as a pound, so I'll be shouting for her.
She is, yeah. Kel, if you're back home and you want to jump on, mate, you're more than welcome to as well. Please do. The link's in the description, as Joe's mentioned. Yeah.
What is the Palace Arsenal score?
Yeah, sorry. I was going
to
Arsenal.
Arsenal started like a house on fire, and Martinelli put them in front after about 20 minutes. And at the time, it looked like Palace might be in for it, but actually Palace have stuck in, so it's still 0-1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just grateful that Martinelli that bagged the goal for my
their team to watch this season, I'm telling you.
Who's that, Liam?
Arsenal.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah,
I think Palace won't be a bad team to watch, to be honest. I'm predicting them for a top 10 finish this season.
Yeah, well organised club.
Yeah, definitely. It's just exciting that we're going to be part of this tomorrow. We're going to be on amazing business. I've had match of the day on my planner, Sky Planner, for the last 2 years. I've not watched a single episode. Honestly, I really got fed up with the Premier League during lockdown. Lockdown really killed football for me, and I just didn't enjoy watching it. I'd stopped playing my fantasy Premier League. I didn't give a damn where I finished. Where the previous 2 seasons, I've done well to finish in the top 2 or 3 in the mini leagues I've done. But back on it today. So hopefully we've got something to celebrate tomorrow. But either way, we're celebrating. It's an amazing day. I'm just looking forward to getting up in the morning. I'll have because I think BBC 5 Live it's their main game tomorrow, so they're going to be very nice and early and commenting from the game. It's going to feel like Dave, I think you're giving me too much credit for my age, but I'm 43. So I was born the year we won the first division championship, and I was lucky enough to see us at Wembley through the 80s and 90s, and see those Collingwood years was my teen years, and those 2 years, mate, were the best football I've seen.
I've played with Collingwood.
Oh, he's a legend. He's my hero. One of my heroes, and I'm glad to see him involved in a little way with the clubs. You know, he's done a few interviews on the club channel, and he's back at, and he's back at Southampton, isn't he? Sorry, back at Southend doing some work with the club there. So he's back in football, and he's a hero of mine. He'll always be an icon, Forest icon. I've got his signed photo there on my mantelpiece, and absolutely love him. So I have seen us in the Premier League, and I definitely remember a legend, Kevin Campbell, and Pierre Van Hooydonk, all the good that he did for us in the Championship. You know, he was still an amazing player, wasn't he? Him and on his free kicks, a free kick anywhere 40 yards out, he was, and he was brilliant. He was so good. I've never seen anyone take, apart from Cycle, of course, I've never seen anybody else take kicks like Pierre Van Hooydonk. But we're talking about stuff that these guys won't remember. But this is like you said, this experience for us is, even for us, it's nothing like anything else, is it? I've never known a pre-season like this. I've never known a build up to a Premier League season like this. As I've mentioned before, we went into those. So the first time after we got promoted back in with Frank Clark, we didn't have much money then. We spent $4 million on Brian Roy, which was an amazing signing, and but other than that, we didn't have a lot. And certainly when we went back up in 98-99 season, we sold our best player. We sold Kevin Campbell. Pierre Van Hooydonk went on hop and went on strike, and we certainly had no money going into that season either. So we've never done anything like this, have we? So even for us, it's so exciting, and obviously for the guys there, it's going to be some memories for all.
One for the young guys tomorrow, in my view. It's one for one of those, like, so like for Liam, like he can like. I mean, I guess we all went to Wembley. What a day in our lives that was. We'll never ever forget it. You know what I mean?
Unfortunately, I think myself and Joe didn't go to Wembley, unfortunately, but you guys did. And no, unfortunately not. But you know what? I was actually watching Door's vlog again from Wembley a couple of days ago, and emotions. What I love about Door, and I'll always give him a shout out, is that he. I feel like I'm there when I'm watching his vlogs, and that emotion when the goal was exactly how I was. I won't use the language he used. He was awful.
He was quite emotional, wasn't he?
With tears in his eyes were the tears in my eyes at that very moment. Just the joy and relief, and that the elation. It was a moment that we'll never forget, whether we were there or not. I'm sure we were watching if we weren't there, and we'll never forget that moment. And let's hope it wasn't all for nothing. And this season's going to be something. I'm sensing something special. I sense something special as soon as Cooper's methodology started kicking in, and you listen to him, and he makes sense, and he's like yourself, Dave. He's somebody I could listen to all day, talking. But he doesn't, like I say, he doesn't string people on. Even the media seem to love him. I think he'll be a heartthrob of the media this coming season, and there'll be a few sound bites coming from our top man. Definitely. So looking forward to it. Is anybody waiting in the lobby? Have we got anyone waiting, Joe?
Yeah, we have another guest that's waiting to join us. So, you ready, Eve? Give us a thumbs up.
Where is she? Where's our Eve?
Hi.
There she is.
Hey.
Hi,
How are you, Eve?
Yeah, I'm okay. Yep. Yeah.
Oh, brilliant. Hey.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm excited about tomorrow.
Good.
Oh, tell us about it. Come on, tell us about why you're excited. What are you so excited about? What's happening tomorrow?
We're in the Premier League tomorrow.
That's the right answer.
Yeah, we're in the Premier League tomorrow. I'm excited.
How are you going to be following the game tomorrow, Eve?
I actually, on Wednesday, I actually went out to go to Curry's to get a to get a Fire Stick to get IPTV so I can watch all the matches I can't attend.
Way to go, Eve.
That's the way to go. Yeah, I'm going to have to do that myself as well. Yeah, definitely. Good shout.
I was like, well, if I can't attend some games this season, well, I can just get a Fire Stick and then just watch them on the TV. So, yeah.
Yeah. I think I'll probably be one of the only people that's not actually watching it. I'm going to be just on the other side of the City ground tomorrow. Going to watch the cricket.
All right.
Not playing, so I'm going there with my family. But I'll have a headphone in, and I'll be listening to BBC 5 Live while I'm there. And I'll be probably more excited about listening to that than I would be watching the cricket in front of me. So
brilliant.
I did tweet about getting a Fire Stick earlier, and one of the Forest fans on Twitter, I don't know if any of you follow him. His name's Ian Baker, and he messaged me on Telegram, and he's paid. He said he's paid for me to use IPTV for the next year.
Oh, brilliant!
He said.
How lovely!
Yeah, he said on Telegram. He said it's because he said I deserve it because he likes my artwork I do. So
that's a beautiful thing. I'm glad you shared that with us, Eve. See, this is what this community is about. This is what this hub is about, and that's an amazing gesture. And shout out. What was his name? Ian Baker, did you say?
Yeah, Ian Baker. Yeah.
Shout out to Ian. Yeah, if I'm not following you, mate, I will follow you. Drop us a link, mate. Definitely, that's such a sweet thing to do, and very nice gesture. And he's absolutely right, mate. You're a legend, Eve. You deserve it. And if we can all help each other out this season, this is what this is all about. We'll be hopefully keeping an eye on this channel. There will be a few things coming up in the future, and we'll keep you informed. But yeah, David, did you want to add something there?
Yeah, I did actually. I love this. Me and Eve keep in touch. We communicate a lot. I think the world of her, and we all love her. And that word there is crucial. That word love. That word love brought Jesse Lingard to our club, right? Because Jesse Lingard was shown love by Evangelos Marinakis, Miltiadis Marinakis, Steve Cooper, Alan Tate, Dane Murphy, et al. It was love that brought Jesse. Now, where was West Ham's love? You know, West Ham
actually offered him more than all, didn't they? They offered more money than we did. And clubs in America offered him like twice the paycheck it was to come here. So any TalkSport, I know you didn't mention their name earlier, but any TalkSport representative looking at that probably feels a bit stupid that they were saying he was just following the money.
Yeah, and that's right, Liam. And that's where they, to be honest, the people who made the comments didn't do their research. They didn't look deeper. They were just looking at pound notes and numbers. They weren't looking at Steve Cooper's sympathy, empathy, and understanding of other human beings, especially young footballers. You know,
they were underestimating Forest. I think that's what I put it down to. They were writing us off before we kicked football, and they were doing the classic pundit thing, and hopefully it comes back and makes them look stupid. Because they've wrote us off before we've done anything. And I hope Jesse Lingard could rub it in their face.
Well, I'm more than
even if it's with assists and goals. So.
Oh, he'll make his mark, and I'm more than happy for them to carry on treating us like that, because I think that's what is going to bring out the best in the squad and the siege mentality that I alluded to earlier. So, Eve, so you're going to hopefully be watching the game tomorrow. What's your score predictions for the match? Who do you think is going to score? And if we're going to score at all, what do you think is going to happen?
I think we're going to win tomorrow. I think we might win 2-1 tomorrow.
We'll have some of that.
I'll take that. I'll probably cry if we do that.
And I want to predict the scorers. I think Brennan Johnson will score, and Sam Sewage. I think they'll both
Yeah.
score.
That'd be good. That'd be
Yeah.
brilliant. There'd be some love for that, won't there?
Yeah,
A lot of love.
yeah.
It'll be a very messy day for me tomorrow if we win. Yeah, I'm not even.
Without any
If
sleep
we
either,
win, you won't
any
see
sleep
me
coming
till
out.
Monday.
Are you stopping in Newcastle, Liam?
I'm not, because we go down on the supporters coach for
Right.
big away days like that, like long
Yeah.
ones. So I've got a house party at my house soon as we get back. So
Right.
I've got like a litre and a half of JD and a couple of.
A cup of tea for me.
Yeah, well, aqua. Well, yeah, no, it's going to be an interesting day. So, yeah, Eve, thank you very much for your comments.
Before
Really
I go, and Dave, what mug do you have?
Say again, Doc.
What mug do you have?
It's a Mr. Men mug that my niece bought me. I think it was a sort of an incentive for me to look after her hamster.
I think I've got a similar mug, you see.
Forest.
Mr. Forest.
Oh, you have?
Can you believe that? I tell you what, Eve, that's the real Forest love for you, Duck, isn't it?
Yeah, bless you.
Eve, I want to say about these idiots that are taking your pictures and putting them as profile pictures.
Yeah.
There's a lot of us out here that want to see that all the time on Twitter.
Yeah.
And this minority idiot that keeps doing it, take no notice at all.
Absolutely.
Because
Definitely.
we're all here as a family.
Yeah.
So keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
And keep getting better. And we can see obvious improvements in every picture you're putting up. So just carry on at it.
Thank you.
And take no notice of the idiots.
Yeah.
Because you're always going to get it.
I've been drawing a picture today of a Nottingham Forest fan's dog today, so I just need to put it in, then direct message him.
Oh wow!
Pictures.
Brilliant.
So
Brilliant.
yeah.
Keep doing what you're doing, mate.
Yeah.
And
do what you do.
just keep that block buttons will be handy on Twitter. Just keep using it. If someone is going to be negative, nobody needs to see that.
No. Well said, Liam.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well brought up, Liam. And so yeah, absolutely. We've all got your back. We love you. So don't you worry about those haters, because those people have got nothing better to do with their time except upset other people. But just before you go, Eve, can you give us one of those before you go?
I think so. Is it? Oh, I don't want to get it wrong now.
No.
I don't want to get it wrong.
Eve, done deal, baby. Let's go.
Oh, you got it. Yeah, just bring them together.
Like
yeah, just bring them together.
Yeah.
You got it.
You got it.
You're a legend, Eve. You're a legend. Enjoy the game tomorrow, and we'll get you one again soon. Thank you for popping on today. Really appreciate your time.
See you, Eve.
See you later.
Thanks, Eve. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bless her.
Brilliant.
Oh, well done, Lee, bringing that up. Yeah, it was something that needed to be said. So well done for saying that.
It's an ongoing. Now we're in the Premier League. The last week I've seen it's been worse than ever. The amount of people that's getting angry and horrible. People attacking Dor. Like, why? Why are you doing it? It's just out of jealousy.
Yeah.
And she's doing something so innocent.
Yeah.
For someone to ride it like that is disgusting.
Do you know what I would say about Eve? I mean, she's I've only actually ever met her once, but she sends me lots of DMs and I love getting them. And, she's a really brave girl. She's incredibly brave. And I think the world of her. And like I say, it goes back to my point that it's about love. Us four love Forest. We love talking about football. And I live on my Todd. I live outside of Nottingham. When I worked and lived in Bournemouth, of all places, for 28 years. When I came back, I didn't really know anybody. And I got to know so many amazing people through just loving Nottingham Forest that I'll never ever stop being grateful for it. So
I feel sorry for you living down there.
Yeah.
It was unfortunate, mate. Really. I just had to go. I was a bit like Lingard. He might have to go for the money.
It's the one away day last season where I thought, without swearing, well,
Yeah.
Blackpool as well, but Blackpool was an amazing way day, so that kind of makes up for the area.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Somebody said to me,
One for me.
if Dora asked me on one of his shows, and the question was, which grounds are you looking forward to going to this year? And I said, I can't wait to go to 18 other of the greatest stadiums in the world. And Bournemouth as well. So yeah, the less said about that night in Bournemouth, in many ways, the better.
How did you go down there? Did you go on the coach?
No, I got a lift. I went with Max Hayes, match day with Max, who's a very great friend of mine. Him and his brother, his big brother, drove us all the way there and all the way back in the day, which is a hell of an achievement. Yeah. And to be honest, we got there, and obviously the game was disappointing in the end, but there were other issues as well, which I don't really want to go into. But they're gone now. Although it does make me want it. Somebody asked me, which of the other teams would you really want to be? In fact, it was a question on Dore last night that Kevin Campbell asked. Dear old Kev, he asked the question of Lisa and Ellie and Dore. And I said in the comments, I really want to beat Bournemouth.
I hope we hammer them just because of how the game went. They scored that Kiefer Moore goal. And then I don't know if he stayed in after the final whistle. Yeah, then police were threatening to arrest us. And then you had the 30 or 40 little gremlins behind him trying to egg us on. And I hate them for it. I can't wait to go down there.
Yeah, that night, Liam, the final whistle came, and obviously you could understand their joy at being promoted and having beaten us because we were their nearest rivals. But for us to have to stand there in that tiny away section and stand stock still with the camera pointed at us, it was unnerving. Let's say that.
Mm. Yeah, because the policeman whacked the camera out straight away, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
But he wasn't watching all the idiots behind him goading us. But we're in the Prem now, so we'll just outclass them on the pitch.
Yeah, it's the best way to do it, mate, for sure.
Fantastic. Joe, have we got any more things we want to talk about, any more topics on our list, or are we going into any other business? Anyone else waiting to jump on?
So got another topic we can bring up now, and it's more transfer talk since we're in August, getting towards the back end with the season starting and then transfer window closing. So I think today we've seen more information and more news coming out about MGW, which is I think going to bed last night, a lot of people were very optimistic, thinking it was done, it was over the line. He might even be a Forest player before we even kick a ball tomorrow. But by the sounds of things that's come out today, it's sounding like Wolves are really not going to let him go, even for what they said their asking price was going to be like 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, be digging their heels. Go for it.
I think it's going down to greed now with Wolves, but they need the money. So I really do not understand why they're turning down decent bids with good add-ons for a player they don't see in their plans. They didn't last season anyway. Why? Well, it's 35 million, wasn't it, that they've turned down today or yesterday?
Yeah. And then
the add-ons.
They turned down the Everton one. They said it was 30 million is what they were going to be asking for. So,
I mean, if he comes and he has a season and he plays out his skin, he'll probably be worth 50, 60 million next year, which is good business. But it's a risk, isn't it?
Yeah. I struggle to understand Wolves because going into their game tomorrow against Leeds, and if you listen to a lot of the pre-season preview podcasts and articles, Wolves' clear issue is Raul Jimenez is injured. Fabio Silva has gone out on loan somewhere. They're hoping that Hwang will be the new Heung-min Son, and that's difficult to envisage. They're also, I think, worried about the Ruben Neves situation because I think Ruben Neves is coveted by other clubs. I think that if Ruben Neves wasn't such a target, then Morgan would be easier for us to get. But I think their thinking is that if they lose Ruben Neves, then Morgan is the one to kind of fill that role. But Morgan is, again, we don't know. I'm not close to the clubs. I don't know. There's stuff going on, like there's stuff going on in Greece, there's stuff going on in Wolverhampton, there's stuff going on in Nottingham. It's all behind closed doors, as it should be. But my understanding, my reading of the situation was that Morgan Gibbs-White would like to play for Steve, as he did in a very short but successful spell, ruined by injury eventually at Swansea a couple of seasons ago. And I think, and actually, if you like, his body of work in those 5 games against us last year, the one against Wolves in the Carabao, and then the 4 games against Sheffield United, if we were neutrals and we weren't looking at Forest like we do, Morgan Gibbs-White would be the one player you would take away from Sheffield United, and it was noticeable without him against Watford on Monday night. They asked Iliman and Jai to kind of do the same role, and Blades didn't look as effective as they did do against us in those 4 games. So he's an excellent player. I know there's this business about him not being proven in the Premier League, which it's actually a point because he's never had a consistent run in the Premier League. But I just think, I mean, if I'm a Wolves fan tonight, thinking of heading to Ellen Road tomorrow, I'm worried where are the goals going to come from. So they need to, if you're Wolves, you need some money in, you need some funds in to go and buy a proven goal scorer. Now, you need a proven goal scorer. So maybe you have to kind of sacrifice an unproven in the Premier League midfielder. So it's a strange one. But what you say about Joe saying about everybody going to bed last night thinking, oh, MGW is coming to us, and then you get up this morning and he's not. And I guess maybe being an old fart to just kind of look at Twitter and think, it's saying one thing 1 minute, one thing another, and just forget it. You know what I mean?
And has it got to the point with you 3 yet where? I mean, it was the same with Spence. I got bored of listening to, he's coming. When Spence was never coming. Forest didn't even put a bid in for him. That's how unfounded Twitter was with that.
Yeah.
But it's getting to the point where I'm just bored of seeing it.
Yeah. To me, if it's Paul Taylor, or it's Danny Taylor, or it's Sarah Clapson, or it's John Percy, or it's Fabrizio Romano, if he isn't one of that quintet, then generally I'm skeptical.
Yeah, I'd agree.
It seems to be every time I try and say something a bit controversial, my phone cuts me off. It's like, you're not saying that. But it just seems with it's an ongoing Spence saga, like with Morgan Gibbs-White now, and it gets to a point where you're like, oh, do I have to hear about it again?
Yeah.
But
like I said before, if he doesn't come to us, he's not going anywhere. They'll keep hold of him. It'll be interesting to see if he's in this matchday squad tomorrow. But Joe mentioned, I was like one of us expecting to hear that he's having his medical today. But it is what it is. They will drag it out, and they're foolish to do so because it could get to a point where eventually the player just wants out. But I will, looking back on his highlights reel from last season as well, another great thing about him is how much of a team player he is. Every single goal, every single assist you watch how he celebrated with the club, with the other players. He's one that I just want him in. Thankfully, I'm not the one with doing the financials, but I pay what
I think as watching the way Morgan played last year for Blades, especially like he's dovetailing with Sander Berger, Iliman and Jai, and then obviously Billy and before he got injured, Ryan Brewster. And I look at I look at Jesse, I look at Nico, I look at Brennan, Lewis, Harry Toffolo. I think Morgan Gibbs-White would look at that, I think that'd be a nice little gang to be in. But obviously there's this kind of thing with it's a matter of what we don't know, none of us, and I don't think anybody at Forest seems to know, is exactly how much Wolves think of him. How they quantify that, because they seem to 1 minute and they don't seem to the next. But I just think
they're more sold on how we think about him, and I think that's what they're playing.
Yeah,
I think that's. I think they know. I mean, and Coop's not come out and said it, but I said weeks ago that I think he was our number one target this window, and I think he'll be the one who breaks our transfer record again. I don't know, Joe. How do you feel about that? Would you still want him in?
Yeah, definitely. I think we'd all still want him in. I think he's someone that we could see where we've got Jesse this year. We know we've got him this year to try and help us stay up in the Premier League, and maybe we'll be able to keep him on if we do stay up, and if we don't, then we can part ways and say thanks for being part of us for this year. But I think the plan with Gibbs White is much more long term. I think he's someone that we want to have nailed down and wants to be in Cooper's plans for the foreseeable future. So whatever, and it seems clear that Mr. Marinakis' pockets are running deep. He's not afraid to be splashing the cash since he's now taken control of the negotiations himself to try and get it over the line. That's how much clearly Steve's pushing on and saying we need this man in our squad. So whatever they determines what is needed to get him in, I'd say go for it. He's someone that is going to be, hopefully, with over a couple of years to come, a Forest legend.
Yeah, I think it's telling that for so long since he bought the club, Mr. Marinakis was kind of like a distant figure you saw occasionally. I think the only time I've seen him at the City Ground before this season was that awful night against Millwall, where basically we spread COVID to the whole world because he'd been to see Mikel Arteta the day before, and Mikel Arteta was the first person in football to get COVID. I think he got it off Mr. Marinakis, who then found out he got it when he got back to Greece. But he was always a kind of a background figure. Yeah, he had a moan about the penalty decision at Bournemouth. And all of a sudden, he's there at Wembley, and now he's kind of front and centre, whereas before he was a kind of an overseer in the back, if you like. And I just find it really interesting how much it's almost like Olympiacos was his pet project for a while, but like now it's Forest rather than Olympiacos, But I find it really interesting that.
Definitely. I mean, he's going to flex his muscle, and I'm more than happy to see him do it. Why not? Like I said before, we've never been in this position before, coming into a Premier League system with money and with the players that we've been linked with, and the ones that we're getting over the line. Mangala, that one. As soon as I heard of it, I was like, yeah, we've got to get it done. But they're not. We're not finished. I don't think our transfer business is.
And the absolute legend that leaked that as well. Got to give it to him.
Yeah,
legend that leaked it.
If I ever meet him, but that was amazing. It was great that you got that photo with him on the day, and obviously you got to chat to Dane briefly as well, didn't you, Liam?
Yeah, I was happy that Dane let me leak it. To be fair. Because obviously I was talking to Jamie, and Jamie kind of disappeared as Mangala come out, and obviously he couldn't say anything about Mangala, but I got the picture and leaked it. I was like, yeah, straight up on Twitter.
Yeah, Dean Henderson has been very, very bullish about Oral Mangala's abilities that have been shown in training, so that's good. And as you lads all have all sort of alluded to. And I go back to Steve's interview with Colin at Notts County when he was on a roll. Steve was, and Colin said quite tentatively, "Will there be more coming in, Steve?" And Steve Cooper went, "Yeah, we need more." There's no beating about the bush. Morgan Gibbs White. If it is, I actually think. I mean, we've got another 3 weeks of window, and it might be one of those that's done on the last day where Forest and Wolves are kind of almost forced if into some kind of compromise situation. But I mean, and then maybe Jimmy Garner pops up on the last day of the window. You never know. There's another.
Know. I expect some activity leading up to that transfer deadline day. Yeah, definitely. And I think we won't disappoint us. I don't think. Looking forward to it. The whole thing. We've got something to look forward to now every single weekend. Really looking forward to
the context, Japs. Is that this time last year, I think we pretty much just lost to Coventry City.
Lost 2-1, didn't we?
Yeah. And and my ground zero, if you like, my ground zero for Forest, throughout my life was Forest 2, Yeovil 5, the worst night in the history of this club, in my view. But something nearly as bad was that game at home against Middlesbrough last September, where basically poor old, Ethan Horvath, right? If he never does anything again for Forest, I mean, he took the greatest goal kick in the history of Forest at Wembley when we knew we were going to win. But also, if you like, that night, if he'd have not, say he'd gathered Loic Mbisso's back pass rather than spill it to allow Onel Hernandez to score to make it 2-0, maybe they would have got Chris Hughton out, So again, Gwyneth Paltrow's there with the sliding doors moment, So I just think it's incredible how far we've come in a year to where we are now. Yeah. Absolutely astonishing.
Yeah, and we've seen this kind of thing before, haven't we? Where clubs spring up through the leagues, and that momentum keeps them going into the next season. So hopeful for it, because we haven't got the thing hanging over our head of a recent relegation like some of these yo-yo clubs are going to have. They almost get used to them. They accept it as part of their makeup now, but we haven't got that hanging over us. So. Really. Yeah, I've made my prediction for where I think we'd finish in the league, and this was before we'd even signed anyone. So I'll repeat. I think we'll finish just outside the top 10. I finish in the 11th, and we'll have an amazing season. But I also think we'll have a very good cup run in one of the two cups. I think we'll get to Wembley. I'm actually predicting, as far as Wembley, either in the FA Cup semi-final or a League Cup final. Let's get back to those Cloughy late 80s, early 90s years where we were. It's almost twice the season, weren't we? Whether it was the Zenith Theatre systems or the League Cup final, the FA Cup finals. Let's get back to that. I think I'll more than be happy with that, because that's what the club was when I was first supporting them. It was a top 10 Premier League first division side that was great in the cups.
The other thing I remember from those days is that we were like everybody's second favorite club. Everybody liked the way we played under Brian. The referees loved us because, like I say, I was talking to somebody today about. I referred to that team of Nigel and Neil Webb, Paul Wilkinson, Terry Wilson, Gary Crosby, Sutton, Des, Chet, all them great lads that played for us. Obviously with Stuart Pearce and whatever. That they were like the most well-disciplined team in the whole league, because they knew if they got a red or yellow card, they had to face him when they went back in the dressing room, right? And referees were almost like, Forest are like the most well-behaved club, and that was because his nibs was waiting in the dressing room, like, because he would fine them and he would have them for red and yellow cards, and so that was a team that was really, really liked. So it'd be nice for us to get back to that, but we're facing a massive task. Let's not kid ourselves. Yeah, I think we'll finish 14th, but I'd take your hand off, in cold meat now for 17th and staying up by goal difference, like Villa did a couple of years ago on the last day, like Leeds did last year, Brighton did it, I think, and now Brighton are finishing. To me, the role models are Brighton, Villa, Palace, Leeds. If they can do it, why not us? We're of a similar stature to them. Why can't we do it?
Absolutely.
Who's your three that's going to go down?
Say again, mate?
Okay,
Who's your three that's going to go down?
I think the three that will go down will be, I did it on the BBC website today because I'm such a nerd, honestly. I'm so boring, honestly. So what I did, I had my three to go down as being Fulham, because of their reliance on one goal scorer, already proven not to do it in the Premier League. Bournemouth, because I don't know. I don't like Bournemouth, as you know. But I just don't think Scott Parker's got the man management skills that our guys got. So I think Bournemouth go. And they made all their signings in the two windows last year. There was a great point today where somebody said the value of the Forest team at Wembley, given it was loans and free transfers and things like that, I think I totted it up. And I think the only players we paid money for were Sam, Scotty, Brees maybe, and the whole lot amounted to 6 million. Now, when we played Bournemouth that night, Dominic Solanke was 25 million on his Todd, and Philip Billing a similar amount. So, but I think Bournemouth will go. I think Fulham will go, and I think the other team at the moment that look really flimsy on paper are Southampton. Really do. And if you want, I think Everton will be down about our little league is them three: Everton, Brentford, Leeds, and I think Wolves might be a disappointment this year. I really,
What
and
about
maybe
Leicester?
Leicester, they've not signed anybody, and you've just let. I honestly can't believe they let Kasper Schmeichel go.
Yeah, I can't believe that.
So
I think Leicester, out of all of them, are the ones that are going to be most in trouble.
yeah,
They've got a
again.
Leo.
Talking about that, I've blocked him.
Joe, go with your bottom three, mate. Let's hear it.
Yeah, so
done it again.
oh, it's back.
Brilliant, big man.
You never know, mate. You literally could just pause like a mime, and we'll slag you off and you.
Leicester, I think Leicester are going to be one of the three to go down.
Yeah,
They've not really strengthened the team. They've got an aging Vardy now that's injury prone. Obviously, they're losing Schmeichel, which is a big plus for them. I want Bournemouth to go down rock bottom.
yeah.
And I'd be even happy for them to beat Derby's points because I don't like them. I wouldn't say I hate them more than Derby, but
You hate Derby. Ow.
I was. And
yeah, there you go.
And I'm gonna say the third team. I think Fulham will stay up this season.
Yeah,
I think they'll be eager to break that rut of we go up, Norwich go down, and then we go up again, go down again. So the third team, I think Leeds.
yeah.
They've sold the players that were going to do the bits for him, that did the bits for him last season, and they were still in and around there. Now they've sold them. They would be my three: Leicester, Leeds, and Bournemouth. And Fulham will scrape staying up. I'd be very happy if that happens. But Bournemouth rock bottom.
Joe, go for yours, mate.
Yeah, I think I'm going to echo everyone's last place of Bournemouth. I can't see anybody else that's going to finish underneath them. I think how they finished their season last season, other than beating Forest, I really can't see them turning up to any Premier League team and actually producing any kind of result. They might nick a couple here or there where Solanke or someone's had an absolute blinder, and then their keepers managed to keep them in the game. But I think other than that, I can't see them kind of like turning out any surprise results.
Joe, have you seen their start? Villa at home, City away, and then I think they've got Chelsea at home and Liverpool away. I might be wrong, but it's a really tough. I mean, our start is not easy, but it's not as tough as Bournemouth. So they,
And then I think, other than them, I then think, like we were saying about mini leagues, I think there's probably a fair few teams who might finish down there. So I think Fulham, again, I think they're going to struggle. They'll be relying on one striker, and then they've got a lot of holes in their centre backs where they're going to get exposed, I think, in the Prem. I know they've brought off Bernd Leno to go in goal, but I think he's going to be having a lot of shot stopping to do to be able to keep them up. Sorry?
Go on. I'll say my little.
Yeah, so
I think about
Fulham in trouble. Leeds, again, they're going to struggle. I think Brentford, I think I'll probably put Brentford in that bottom three.
No Eriksen.
Without Eriksen, I mean, he came in and galvanised them, didn't he, really? And then they had a good start to the season, and that was because, they came up through the playoffs, and they had that kind of energy to win their first game of the season and carry them through that, and then they died out. And then when they did get Eriksen through, he galvanised them and picked them up again. And then Everton, I just think they're really in the mud. So I'd probably go Bournemouth bottom, and then Brentford, Everton get relegated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, Everton go and they get relegated just before they go to a brand new stadium that they're building. I mean, you know,
MK Dons.
Goodison is our second away trip. It is going to be memorable because, you know, Goodison's not going to be around much longer. And I think, I mean, you look at Everton, I think by all accounts, they've spent something in the region of £350 million. And look at them now. They go into their game tomorrow against Chelsea without a centre forward. Calvert-Lewin's injured. Richarlison's gone. Solomon Rondon is suspended. You know, Frank's saying, well, the other people are going to, what's he going to do? Play Anthony Gordon up front, is he? He's going to play, you know, what's he going to do? He's going to play Tarkovsky up front. He's going to play Dwight McNeil as a lone striker. I mean, what's he going to do? You know, for a club of their size to have such a thin squad is you've got to feel sorry for Everton fans. That's a criminal misuse of resources. That
absolutely. But yeah, I mean, what great thing about that is we've mentioned about 7 or 8 teams there.
Yeah,
and that's that. If we can finish above those lot, and I think we can. I think we've got more stability already than all those clubs that you've mentioned there. And if I'm going with my bottom 3, let's make it a full house, and I'm going with Bournemouth as well to finish bottom. I would add Wolves in there, and I'm gonna say Leeds are going to get dragged into it as well. I kind of hope not, because I want that go back to the Forest, Leeds, Aston Villa, all those, you know, classic clubs, you know, top flight clubs to be there for a couple of seasons, and but also, you know, we've got to just look out after ourselves, and that little group of teams that we've all mentioned there, I think if we can, you know, compete against those, we win those games, we'll stay up. You know, you know, we'll surprise a few of the big clubs as well, no doubt about that. Our role is to get the maximum out of those games against those clubs that we've just mentioned there. But
and our home form.
Sorry, go on.
Yeah, and our home form, we have to. What happened with that place? Early in the season. I mean, for too many seasons before Steve came in, it was like everybody visiting the City Ground used to enjoy it. They used to come here and be inspired by it. Hey, we're playing at the home of the former European champions. And we were so like, we would like roll the red carpet out and then just be like really timid, right? It used to really annoy me. That night against Middlesbrough was the worst. Oh, Cardiff turn up with 3 big centre halves, Flint, Morrison, and Nelson, and we go, oh, you know, fed up of that. You take the atmosphere that night against Sheffield United, especially in that second half where we were poor, and Sheffield United were by far the better team. And for I think the whole of that second half, Forrester Magic on off the pitch, Forrester Magic on off the pitch, and that did as much to beat Sheffield United as anything that the Forest lads did. They were we in the crowd that night. The 12th man won that, and Steve Cooper, brilliant man that he is, recognised that. So, you know, when West Ham come, you know, with extra added Lingard thrown in, I think we'll beat West Ham. I was asked actually, I think that we'll get a draw tomorrow. I think we'll beat West Ham next week on the back of West Ham, West Ham coming into a hostile environment. I think we'll beat Everton because I just think we're a better team than them. But then I think we'll get beat by Tottenham and City because I just think those two are, you know, Tottenham are like a level, and then City and Liverpool. I mean, you know, that I know Real Madrid won the Champions League and they're a good side, and you know, Bayern Munich are a decent side. But to me, City and Liverpool are the 2 best teams in the world. You know, and that's what we're up against. That's what we wanted to be up against. So.
That's it. This is what this is all about, this opportunity. And I wouldn't disagree with too many of your predictions there for these upcoming games as well. But yeah, guys, it's been an amazing stream. We've been on for an hour and a half. We've done a full 90 minutes and a bit of injury time as well. But yeah, fantastic. Thank you for joining us today, Dave. And thank you for everybody who commented. You know, all our our great fans who've joined the chat today, and hopefully, guys, if you liked it, please like, comment, share, and subscribe this stream on our channel. And love to see you again. And we'll do this again soon, hopefully, Dave. And you're anytime, mate. You're welcome anytime.
It's been a thrill, and I can just update you. Crystal Palace 0, Arsenal 2. Second goal, Bukayo Saka, who I actually really love. He's a great little lad, him. So yeah, it's been a real pleasure, lads. Thanks for having me on.
No worries.
On again.
Absolutely.
And the masses out there are happy with it, then I'm more than happy to help out. Thank you.
And I'll see you tomorrow.
Definitely. You guys enjoy the game tomorrow. Make the noise for the rest of us. And me and Joe, enjoy the cricket tomorrow. I'll be enjoying a Saturday afternoon to myself, listening to Forest playing in the Premier League. I'm so looking forward to that. If I'm not out of a game, that's the next best thing. But yeah, it's just a side to sort out. Guys, let's give a JD before we go. Bless you. And yeah, thank you very much, Dave. Thank you. And thanks for everybody who joined in today. Bless you. Take care. See you again soon, guys.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
You Reds.
You Reds.